Welcome to the Etsy Entrepreneur Podcast, where sellers can get help starting, building, and growing their Etsy business so that they can make extra money pursuing their passion. Are you ready to get the tips and strategies you need to be successful? Then let's get started. Here is your host, a top 1% full-time Etsy seller, LL.
All right, guys, welcome back to another Etsy Entrepreneur Podcast. Hopefully everyone's having an awesome day so far, whether it's your morning, your afternoon, your evening, whenever you're catching this. Hopefully it's going great. So I have another hopefully really good podcast planned for you today. Hopefully you guys think it's good. So I got my coffee here. I'm still waking up a little bit, trying to settle in, but I wanted to get this content out for you. Right now, as I'm recording this, we're pretty much in full swing for Christmas season. So it's almost the middle of November. And most of you guys, if you're already selling on Etsy, should have gotten ready or should be ready for Christmas season to come here real quick. Starting Black Friday is when things really kind of take off or should be taking off in your shop. So we want to really capitalize on that. Hopefully I can give you some good tips here to help you capitalize on that as much as possible. So what I want to talk about in this podcast today is letting your customers lead you to more sales, following basically their lead or following what they're telling you, so that you guys can capitalize on that and get more sales. And you're probably thinking, what the heck are you talking about? How are my customers going to get me more sales? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you can look at this, and a couple of different ways that I've looked at this in the past. And kind of my perspective on this really has changed over time. So the first way is, maybe you guys have gotten this already, but when you're getting customers reaching out to you and asking for custom orders. So this is a great way to really capitalize on your customer base and really what they want and what they need. When I used to get custom orders, I used to always just say a flat no, because it is more time consuming to create these custom orders from scratch, especially if you produce your own products. It may not be as simple as they make it out to be, or as depending on your production process, it may not be that simple, bottom line. So I used to always give a flat no, just because it's not worth it to sell one custom order to one person. That's how I would used to look at it. But I started taking custom orders, right? And especially if they were good ideas, and I would do the custom order, and then I would list them just to see how it would do on my shop. And believe it or not, probably 7 or 8 times out of 10, custom orders do really well. They're top sellers in my shop, which is awesome. But it also means that the customer kind of knew, what they were talking about, and maybe it was something they wanted that they could not get from another shop or another source. And I was fulfilling that need for them and fulfilling that want for them. So it's turned out really well. So now I look at that a lot differently. And if people want a custom order and it's something that's aligned with kind of my shop and my brand, I will do it for them and then list it on my shop. And that process has really served me well over time. And like I said, more than half the time, those are best sellers. So I would definitely consider, if you do have customers that end up reaching out to you or have already reached out to you, consider producing those products and putting them in your shop and seeing how they do. If you've said no before, you can always go back and tell those people that you now have that available. And I've done that before too. Maybe it's a product that it's not really, I'm really busy, or it's not a good time to produce it right now. I'll put it on the back burner and say, that's a great idea. I'll consider it in the future and let you know. And then what I'll do is I'll circle back with those people when I do produce the product and let them know, hey, it is available for sale now, and here's the link. And a lot of the times those people will come back and buy from you because they still haven't been able to get the product elsewhere. So make sure that if you do have people reach out to you, that you're always providing a good customer service to them, thanking them for their idea, I would tell them that, it's a good idea. Maybe even if you don't think that's a really good idea, if you're not going to produce it, it doesn't really matter. But you don't want to make people feel dumb for asking for stuff. So, I've gotten some pretty ideas that are kind of out there that aren't really aligned with my shop or my values, and I've told them that's a good idea, but we're not. Custom orders are pretty expensive to produce, so we're not doing custom orders right now, and just kind of thank them and let them go that way. So that's kind of one way that you can approach it, because you don't want to make people feel bad. Another thing that you guys can do is if it's a custom order that you really, maybe you don't want to resell it in your shop, it's really not aligned with what you want to sell or usually do, you can tell them that we don't do custom orders for one-offs, but we do accept custom orders for bulk orders. So if you guys want to do that, you can do that, and set a bulk order limit. Like if you order 10 of these, I will do it for you, or if you order 20 of these, I can do it for you, just depending on your margins of what it costs you to produce a brand new product. Just make sure it's worthwhile for you, but just let people know, hey, if you buy a bulk order of these, I'll do it for you. And a lot of times a bulk order can be a pretty decent chunk of change for you. So that's good. It's a good thing to consider. It may be some extra revenue for you. That's kind of another way that you can handle it if you don't want to put it in your shop. But like I said, if it's something that's aligned with what you do, consider putting it in your shop and consider selling it. Some of my best selling products are customer ideas, which has been awesome. And when I decided to finally listen to customers, they always tell you, the customers are always right. Listen to customers. And as you know, that's not necessarily always the case, but you always have to act like the customer is right for customer service purposes. And it's always good to be kind, right? But in this case, the customer is right a lot of the time. They do give you some good ideas, so don't discount them on its face. So that's kind of the more obvious thing that I wanted to talk about as far as following your customers and listening to your customers, because when they're reaching out to you. The other one is not so obvious, and it's something that a lot of us miss, and that's why I kind of want to talk about, just to make sure that you know. It may seem obvious, but it's really not. So the next thing I want you to do is look at your best-selling items in your shop. Those best-selling items, your customers are telling you that they like those items. That's why they're the best-selling items. And maybe your shop's pretty new. Maybe you only have 5 sales and 4 of the sales are from one item. That's your best-selling item. Maybe your shop's been around for a while and you have 5 items that are the bulk of your sales. Those are your best-selling items. So when we take a step back and look at that, our customers are buying them because they love these items. That's why they're their best sellers. They're telling us, we like these items. We want to buy these items. We have bought these items. So when they're telling us that, they're also telling us that they may buy more of that item that's slightly different, or a different variation, or similar. So you're on to something by having those best sellers. So what you have to do is create more best sellers. We're always trying to do that. We always want to create different products in our shops and kind of diversify the products in our shops. But sometimes we're missing out on creating more products that are our best-selling products, or similar products to our best-selling products. So if it's working, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So think of products that are similar to what you're already selling, that are your best sellers, and create more of those products. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can do this, and that's kind of what I want to touch on now. So if I'm not saying create the identical product and relist that product, right? That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying create products that are like that product and create separate listings. So maybe the product is a different variation, right? Maybe it's a different color, different size, a different material, a different metal, depending on what that is. You don't always have to you can put all those variations in that one listing, but you can also do a new listing with a new picture with that new variation, and it also changes your marketing. It changes how you're marketing that item because the variation is different. If it's a different color, you're not marketing it as red whatever it is, you're marketing as a purple whatever it is now, or you're not marketing as gold anymore, you're marketing as silver, or you're not marketing it as 24 by 36, you're marketing it as 12 by 12. So whatever you're selling, you can market that new variation differently, and that may appeal to customers that it hasn't already appealed to. Maybe they don't want that gold necklace. Maybe they want it in silver. Maybe they don't want the 24 by 36 piece of art. They want it a 12 by 12 piece of art. So you may be missing people that you can market to now by offering a different variation. And along those same lines is maybe you can offer something that is similar to what you already have. So maybe if it's I don't even know off the top of my head what we can do here. Maybe they really like the one oak shelf that you have, right? They love, that's one of your best sellers is the oak shelf. So maybe you can offer another oak shelf that is slightly different. Maybe it's a different variation where it's longer, maybe it's thicker, maybe it's just machined. Well, it's not really called machining when it's wood, but I'm kind of floundering out here, guys, with the terminology, but you kind of get my point. Maybe it's just kind of a different style. Maybe it's a set of oak shelves rather than just one oak shelf, something like that. Maybe it's a bird necklace, and maybe it's a hummingbird necklace that's your best seller. Well, maybe you can offer a robin necklace or an eagle necklace, because people clearly love the one bird style necklace that you're doing. So that kind of changes things. And maybe your bird necklace has an emerald in it, and maybe that's why they love it. So maybe you want to offer a different bird with that same emerald in it. Maybe that's the key. So think about it that way, and how you can offer different variations of your item or similar variations of your item, like items that are similar to your best sellers. And by looking at your best sellers, your audience is already telling you, like, hey, I like what you're doing here. So think of ways to keep doing what's working and offer those different variations and those different style of items to your products, to your customers, not your products. So hopefully that makes sense, guys, as far as what I was trying to do there. I know I was trying to dive into niches that aren't my own, but you kind of get where I'm going with this as far as offering differences. Because a lot of people, the mistakes that they make on Etsy especially, and really in e-commerce, is putting up products and acting like it's a one and done, and really not taking a step back and looking at what they're selling and how they're performing and how they can kind of follow what those stats are telling us, and use that to your advantage to create more products that are doing really well, and not just thinking of it as, I have this product that's doing really well, now I'm going to come up with something completely different and see how that will do, which is something you want to do, but don't miss out on what's already doing well, and don't make sure you're capitalizing on that. So the other thing that your customers tell you is bad stuff too, right? If you have products out there, and I've touched on this before in previous podcasts, but I just want to touch on it again really quick, is if you have products that have high visits, right? We want to look at visits, not views, because views are just, you could have one visit, which is one person looking at multiple items. So you could have one visit and 20 views. Views are great, but we want to look at visits because we want to attract more people, more different, unique people to our shop. That's where it really matters. So you may have 100 visits and no sales, or 300 visits and no sales on this item. So what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that customers are finding that item, but they're not buying that item. So that's no good, right? So that can mean a couple of different things. That can mean that your item is not really great, that they just don't want that item. Maybe there's a problem with that item. Maybe there's a problem with the photography, which I would probably say there's not a problem with the photography if you're getting that many visits. So people are clicking on that item, so it is appealing to them. They think they may like it, but when they get closer, there's something else wrong. Maybe it's the pricing that's steering them away. Maybe it's the description that's steering them away. Maybe when they get a closer look, they just don't like what they see. So you got some problems there that you need to correct. So that's another way to look at customers and what they're telling us. Now, if you only have 25 visits or 50 visits, that doesn't really tell us a whole lot. You need to wait a little bit longer. Don't jump the gun and be like, oh no, the house is on fire because I got 50 visits and no one bought. That's not really a good number. I would at least let it get to over 100 before you start making any changes and messing with it. So just let it ride and kind of see. But that's another way that our customers can tell us what's going on, tell us where the problem areas are, and tell us kind of what to focus on in our shop. So hopefully that makes sense. Real quick before I let you guys go, and I apologize for the sniffling. I'm still getting over a cold here, so I'm trying to keep it all in and not share it with you guys because I know it's gross, and it is cold season. So hopefully you guys are staying healthy out there and getting ready for Christmas by being healthy. So that's what I'm trying to do. Speaking of Christmas, I wanted to let you guys know that I have my new Masterclass out. It is Etsy Traffic and Sales Masterclass that's geared specifically towards traffic and sales and improving your traffic and sales. A lot of you guys have asked me for something specifically like this, and it's what I wanted to produce. It is a walkthrough masterclass, so it's exactly like if you're watching the video version of this podcast, it's exactly like that, where you can kind of see my bobbing head. I actually go inside my own Etsy shop, go inside other Etsy shops, and show you all of the strategies that I've used and am currently using in my shop that has grown my shop to a top 1% shop. And I show you these strategies so that you guys can implement them too in your own shops. So I dive into finding the right audiences, testing your products, how to test those, advanced marketing strategies, different sales strategies that a lot of people don't think about, SEO, basic and advanced SEO strategies. It's stuff that a lot of people miss, and immediately people dive into, well, there's a problem with my keywords. There's a lot more to selling on Etsy or e-commerce in general than just keywords. That's a big part of it, yes, but there's a lot of sales and marketing strategies that a lot of people are missing the boat on that's hurting your overall performance. And those are the things that I want to give you with this masterclass. I want to give you everything that you need in order to increase your traffic and sales, which you will definitely do if you listen to this masterclass and implement the strategies that I'm teaching you. I spent a lot of hours, a lot of time, and really 7 years in the making learning these strategies that the ones that work the best, and that's what I want to share with you in this masterclass. I'm going to include a link below so you can access the masterclass and enroll now. Also, for a limited time, I want to give you guys a brand new course on paid advertising, on Etsy paid ads. If you're running paid ads, you know that the platform has recently changed. Etsy tried to simplify it, but there are problem areas with it. So what I want to do is give you guys the best strategies, the way to diagnose your numbers, your stats in paid advertising, how to optimize your paid advertising so that you guys can make the most out of your advertising budget amidst these changes, right? So I want to help you overcome some of the shortfalls of the new advertising platform, how to make the most from your advertising budget, show you how to navigate, show you what to pay attention to, show you how to make adjustments so that you guys can optimize your shop. So I'm including this course. Normally I sell it for $49. I'm going to include it with the masterclass if you guys purchase the masterclass this week. So this is a limited time offer. I'm only throwing it in this week because I want you guys to have it and get ready for the Christmas season so you can access it. I'm going to give you guys a link below in the show notes so that you guys can access both the masterclass and the paid advertising course. So you just click on the link, you will immediately get access to both once you submit everything and enroll in everything. So hopefully, really my hope is to get you everything you guys need to optimize your shop, increase your traffic, increase your sales. I know it works. I've done this stuff for years. I've done these new strategies the last couple of years. I've spent a lot of time figuring out what works. So all you have to do is plug and play, listen to it, follow the strategies, implement them in your shop. And like I said, it goes far beyond just SEO. That's a big part of it. There's a lot of stuff that people miss the boat on outside of SEO. There's advanced sales strategies, marketing strategies that you guys need to take advantage of to grow your shop that a lot of people miss out on. So a lot of people don't know this stuff. So I want to give it to you so that you guys can optimize your shops and be successful. So that is my spiel. Hopefully you guys check that out. I would love to work with you. I'd love to see you grow your shop and get ready for this holiday season. So click on the link below in the show notes. Hopefully you guys found a lot of good stuff, got some good stuff out of this podcast, and you can implement in your show and listen to your customers and follow their lead and listen to what they're telling you, and it will help you be more successful in your Etsy shop. Until next time, guys, have an awesome rest of your day. I will talk to you later.